Welcome to another episode of the Beehive Yourself Show. As always, I'm your host, Stephen Herbert. Nada, a school teacher, liaised with her lover, Relia, on a bridge while courting. When the First World War broke out, Relia was sent to Greece to fight, and there he fell in love with another woman and never came back. Unconsolable, Nada died of a broken heart. Local girls who didn't wish to meet a similar fate would lock their love to the local bridge, and so the custom began. With the help of a local artist, I created a lovelock to commemorate our silver wedding anniversary. That's 25 years. My motive for the lock was not the fear of my other half disappearing to fight in the Balkans. She hasn't got a passport for a start, but more as a commemoration of our love, and to participate in contemporary folklore. Yet, for this anniversary, it had to be extra special. The padlock started out as something fairly ordinary. Bought on eBay, stamped, made in England, silverish and unrusted. The design had a love heart and initials, plus a 25. Using an engraver, the lovelock gained indelible meaning, and the inscribed heart received a lick of red linseed oil paint. Maria is one of my honey customers, and an artist. She transforms pre-used things and gives them a new life, finishing them with her trademark mandalas. Our lovelock would be right up her street. Once decorated, the lovelock was transformed. The fronts gained blue, green and yellow dots, yet the engraved initials and numbers were left unadorned. The reverse received the same mandalic treatment, but with the addition of small red love hearts. The effect on the lovelock was to turn it from a thing into bling. However, we underestimated two elements about lovelocking. Firstly, the ritual itself. During our walk to the lovelock place, I felt nervous. Were we meant to say something? What would I say? Do we lock the lovelock together? How do we throw the key into the stream? We muddled through. Nothing really meaningful was said. We locked the decorated padlock together, then threw the key into the stream. Job done. Secondly, we underestimated how important it was to keep the whole operation secret. A lovelock should be a mystery of nature, just like with the postbox toppers. Although the one at Avebury had the creator's name and mobile number on the back of it. In public sight, I left my audio recorder on, with a lavalier microphone clinging to a nettle stump. I hope to record the ambient sounds for this podcast on what we thought was public waterside space. From out of nowhere, Karen, not her real name but she was one, wanted to know what we were doing. This was private property, she announced, and not owned by the council. Karen was standing a couple of feet away from our lovelock, oblivious to what we had just done. I explained we were capturing the soundscape and described in great detail all the ear candy around us. Satisfied, she went about her business, reading between the lines. Karen's initial concern revolved around my audio recorder and its ability to consume all the sounds from the locality. if not ceased, the place would be reduced to a cold, eerie silence. Graciously, I flicked the switch on my audio device from suck to blow. A multitude of noises escaped from the captivity of the machine. The babbling brook, the ducks, church bells, footsteps of pedestrians, cyclists, aeroplanes, beeping construction vehicles, wind swishing through the trees, cuckoo clocks, raspberries, alien spaceships, roaring toy dinosaurs, a brass band playing, sizzling sausages, road sweepers. Covering our ears, we fled from this cacophony of sounds in search of a quiet cafe. Whilst the lovelock key was too heavy to float downstream, our intentions did, bobbing and weaving down the Letcombe Brook, and eventually to the infinite ocean to meet a force bigger than ourselves. At some point, it would have passed the confluence of the sacred River Och and the Thames. And it is here I have something remarkable to report. My wife brought to my attention that some crochet graffiti had appeared on a bridge in Abingdon. She got news from one of her social media feeds, and we made an excuse to go to the former county town. The first port of call was the Tesco's superstore at Abingdon. I mention this because the sacred Och seems to be getting closer to the fringes of its car park. Earlier this year, the river flooded the superstore, a testimony to why we should not build on a floodplain, or, put it another way, how the desecration of a sacred watercourse will make for a vengeful river god. After shopping and with wool goggles on, we ventured into town, parking in the long stay car park near Nag's Head Island. Whilst crossing the bridges there was no sight of sheepy contemporary folklore. Nonetheless, I took my good lady to see St Helen's Church and the Confluence, both lovely places to visit. St Helen's Wharf is a lane which passes the church, and it takes a right angle to follow the Thames. On the corner, we got our first glimpse of the extraordinary. The wharf has elegant post and rail fencing along the river. The gunmetal coloured posts have an ornate, neoclassical design. But the pertinent feature is that each post has a smooth, solid sphere at the top, a prime object for festive hookers to decorate. Crocheters are called hookers. Every other ball was transformed into a Christmas pudding with holly and berries on the top. The alternative ones were robins. The last topper was next to the Wilts and Berks Bridge, but nothing beyond it. The adorned post created a magical promenade from the holy church to the sacred confluence of the rivers. Maybe an offering to the River Ock from the bridge would have been the appropriate thing to do, appeasing the river deity to keep Tesco's dry. But instead, we turned around, retraced our steps back to the car, and drove home. A day in contemporary folklore is a very long time. Thank you for listening all the way to the end. Please consider following my work at beehiveyourself.co.uk or visit my Substack. My handle is @BeehiveYourselfShow. As always, you can contact me directly by email, podcast@beehiveyourself.co.uk. This podcast is syndicated to other platforms. You can listen to the Beehive Yourself Show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podcast Addict, and on YouTube podcasts at the Beehive Yourself YouTube channel, or use the RSS feed in the show notes. The music is called Solitude by Entertainment for the Brain Dead and was used in this podcast under a Creative Commons license. The interlude was a medley of music from this year's Dickensian evening at Wantage. And this concludes this episode of the Beehive Yourself Show. And until next time, stay well.